nínú àkójọpọ̀ ìròyìn wa lálẹ́ òní igbákejì ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí rọ àwọn ọmọ ilé aṣòfin ìpínlẹ̀ láti tètè wá nǹkan ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ òmìnira àwọn ìjọba ìbílẹ̀. Ìjọba àpapọ̀ ṣèkìlọ̀ fáwọn ilé iṣẹ́ àti lájọlájọ tó ń gba àwọn èèyàn ṣiṣẹ́ lọ́nà tí ò bófin mu láti dẹ́kun ìgbésẹ̀ náà. Nílẹ̀ òkèèrè àjọ ìṣọ̀kan àgbáyé bẹnu àtẹ́lu bí nǹkan ìrànwọ́ òṣèdè ẹkùn Tigray tógun fàyà pẹ́rẹpẹ̀rẹ bí owó aṣọ. Ẹ káalẹ́, ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí àkójọpọ̀ ìròyìn. Olúwarántí Òjẹ́wùmí lóníròyìn. Ìròyìn náà rèé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́. Igbákejì ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Yẹmí Ọ̀ṣínbàjò ti rọ àwọn aṣòfin ní ìpínlẹ̀ láti tètè buwọ́lu àbá tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú káwọn ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ ò dádúró kí wọ́n sì ní òmìnira tara wọn. Níbi ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kan tó gbé kalẹ̀ tó jẹ́ ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lọ́dọọdún tí ibùdó tí wọ́n ti ń fìmọ̀ kúmọ̀ tó wà ní Kúrò ní Jos ní ìpínlẹ̀ Plateau ṣe òun ló ti wòye ọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Igbákejì ààrẹ ni tí dókítà Chris Ngige tí í ṣe mínísítà fọ́rọ̀ òṣìṣẹ́ àti ìgbanisíṣẹ́ ṣojú fún sọ pé ẹ̀ka ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ ń kó ipa pàtàkì nínú ìfẹsẹ̀rinlẹ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ṣùgbọ́n tó kọminú lórí bí wọ́n ṣe pa àwọn ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ tì bí ejò àìjẹ. Ó ṣàlàyé pé àtúnṣe sófin ilẹ̀ yìí tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́ yóò túbọ̀ ró àwọn ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ lágbára sí i tó sì jẹ́ ìgbésẹ̀ tó tọ̀nà. Bákan náà ni igbákejì ààrẹ ní báwọn ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ bá lè dádúró tí wọ́n sì lágbára lórí ìṣàkóso àti ètò ìṣúná wọn yóò mú kí àlàáfíà ìjọba tètò ààbò yóò sì dúró déédéé lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí nítorí àwọn èèyàn ẹsẹ̀ kúkú gan ló mọ ojú ìlẹ́jà agbègbè wọn nídìí àwọn ojútùú sí ìṣòro tó ń kojú ètò ààbò. Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Awoniyi Alabi tó jẹ́ agbẹjọ́rò ti ní lóòótọ́ ọ̀pọ̀ àwọn gómìnà lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí ni wọ́n máa ń tasẹ̀ àgẹ̀rẹ̀ sí òfin ní pàtàkì èyí tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú owó àwọn ìjọba ìbílẹ̀. Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Alabi sọ̀rọ̀ yìí nígbà tó ń sọ ìyà tó kọ sí bá ààrẹ Muhammadu Buhari ṣe fẹ̀sùn kan àwọn gómìnà kan pé wọ́n ń ṣàpapín owó tó jẹ́ ti àwọn ìjọba ìbílẹ̀. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí amòfin náà ṣe sọ ó ní òfin là á kalẹ̀ pé káwọn ìpínlẹ̀ ò ṣàmójútó pínpín owó àwọn ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ kì í ṣe pé kí wọ́n gba owó náà kí wọ́n sì jẹ gàba lé owó ọ̀hún lórí èyí tó wà fún ìdàgbàsókè ẹsẹ̀ kòkó. Ó sọ̀rọ̀ síwájú sí i.
Agbára tí òfin fún ọ lábẹ́ òfin pé ó dáa o ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ yín ni o iye ìjọba àbílẹ̀ báyìí ló wà ń bẹ̀ owó tá a fi ránṣẹ́ látòkè ẹ̀pin fún wọn nítorí kan ṣe nù. Ṣùgbọ́n bí ààrẹ ṣe sọ wọ́n á mú owó níbẹ̀ olúkálùkù á mú tiẹ̀ òun náà ni òjì á rí i pé iṣẹ́ kankan ń lọ níjọba àbílẹ̀ tíṣẹ́ ò bá lọ níjọba àbílẹ̀ tó bá jẹ́ pé lóòótọ́ ni wọ́n fún ẹ lówó tó ó yẹ kí wọ́n pe àwọn ìjọba àbílẹ̀ yẹn kí kan wá ṣírò owó táwọn fún ọ.
Pé ó ṣe pàtàkì kí àdínkù bá owó tí àwọn tó ń dipò òṣèlú mú lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí tí wọ́n ń gbà.
Pé àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba àbílẹ̀ ó gbowó tówó tó sì kù tí ò tó nǹkan kan wọ́n ẹni tí wọ́n fi ṣalága tí wọ́n ṣe tàbí kánsílọ̀ eléyìí tó náà jì tí ó mú délé nítorí pé ó ti lọ ṣalága òun náà fẹ́ kọ́lé bóyá ó fẹ́ kọ́lé epo jùlọ tí mo ti máa ń sọ ni pé ká dín owó tí àwọn tí ń ṣèjọba láti president dé governor dé house of assembly senate ká dínkù pátápátá tí òfin ní wu àwọn olè tó jẹ́ pé àwọn tó fẹ́ ra aráàlú tó fẹ́ sìnlú ló mọ̀ lọ́bẹ̀.
Àjọ elétò ìdìbò lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí ti kéde pé bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ọjọ́ ajé ọjọ́ 12 oṣù tá a wà yìí àjọ INEC yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní pín káàdì ìdìbò alálòpẹ́ fáwọn olùdìbò tí wọ́n ti forúkọ sílẹ̀ fún káàdì ìdìbò wọn. Nínú àtẹ̀jáde kan tí adarí fẹ́ka ètò ìròyìn àti líla àwọn olùdìbò lóye nínú àjọ náà ọ̀gbẹ́ni Festus Okoye fi síta lọ́rọ̀ yìí ti jẹyọ. Gẹ́gẹ́ bó ṣe wí àjọ INEC ti fẹnukò láti rí dájú pé gbogbo ibùdó tí wọ́n ti forúkọ sílẹ̀ fún káàdì ìdìbò àtàwọn wọ́ọ̀dù tó wà ní orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ni wọ́n ti pín àwọn káàdì olùdìbò yìí. Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Okoye ní ìgbésẹ̀ ọ̀hún wáyé lópin ìpàdé pàtàkì kan tí wọ́n ṣe ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àti àlàkalẹ̀ bí pínpín káàdì ìdìbò náà yóò ṣe lọ. Ó fi kún un pé nítorí bí àwọn olubi ẹ̀dá kan ṣe lọ ń dáná sun ọ́fíìsì àjọ elétò ìdìbò láwọn apá ibìkan lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí ló mú kí àjọ INEC tètè gbé ìgbésẹ̀ yìí. ìgbìmọ̀ tó ń gbé ẹ̀sùn tó ṣúyọ nínú ìdìbò gómìnà tó wáyé nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ti sún ìjókòó rẹ̀ dógúnjọ́ oṣù yìí lẹ́yìn tí agbẹjọ́rò olùpẹ̀jọ́ ti káàdì ẹjọ́ rẹ̀ lẹ̀ tó sì kù sọ́dọ̀ olùjẹ́jọ́ láti sọ àwíjàre rẹ̀ lórí ẹjọ́ tí olùpẹ̀jọ́ pè tako ìdìbò gómìnà tó wáyé nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. olùpẹ̀jọ́ ló tún pe ẹlẹ́rìí méjì míì láti káàdì ẹjọ́ wọn lẹ̀ tó sì kó àwọn àkọsílẹ̀ tó ní í ṣe pẹ̀lú ìwé tí gómìnà Adémọ́lá Adélékè kó sílẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ àjọ elétò ìdìbò láti fi díje fún ipò gómìnà lọ́dún 2018 kalẹ̀. olú iléeṣẹ́ yìí Adébóyè Púpọ̀ lámúròyìnbó àbọ̀ ìròyìn òun rèé láti ẹnu Ọláwùmí Ọláníyì.
nínú ọ̀rọ̀ olùpẹ̀jọ́ kìíní ọ̀gbẹ́ni Adégbóyèga Oyètọ́lá àti olùpẹ̀jọ́ kejì ti ṣe ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú All Progressives Congress táwọn agbẹjọ́rò wọn wà níbi ìjókòó ìgbìmọ̀ tó ń gbẹ́sùn tó ṣiyọ lásìkò ìdìbò gómìnà tó wáyé nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ti káàdì atótónu wọn lẹ̀ lórí ẹ̀sùn tí wọ́n gbé lọ sọ́dọ̀ ìgbìmọ̀ náà. èyí rí bẹ́ẹ̀ látàrí bí olú iléeṣẹ́ àjọ elétò ìdìbò lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí INEC ṣe tẹ̀lé àṣẹ tí ìgbìmọ̀ náà pa láti ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ àwọn ìwé ẹ̀rí tí gómìnà Adémọ́lá Adélékè kó sílẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ àjọ elétò ìdìbò èyí tó fi díje fún ipò gómìnà lọ́dún 2018. nínú ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn agbẹjọ́rò olùjẹ́jọ́ ni wọ́n ti láwọn kò ní nǹkan sọ lórí ìwé ẹ̀rí sẹ́nẹ́tọ̀ Adémọ́lá Adélékè títí tí ìgbìmọ̀ tó ń gbẹ́sùn náà yóò fi sọ èrò rẹ̀ níbàámu pẹ̀lú agbára tí ìgbìmọ̀ tó ń gbẹ́sùn náà ní. ṣáájú làgbẹjọ́rò fún ọ̀gbẹ́ni Adégbóyèga Oyètọ́lá ẹ̀yìn ọ̀gbẹ́ni Lateef Fagbemi ti fi tó ìjókòó ìgbìmọ̀ tó ń gbẹ́sùn tó ṣúyọ lásìkò ìbò gómìnà tó kọjá létí nípa ìdájọ́ ilé ẹjọ́ kòtẹ́milọ́rùn tó fìdí bí oníbàárà rẹ̀ ṣe gbé àpótí ìbò lásìkò ìdìbò gómìnà tó kọjá múlẹ̀ pé ọ̀gbẹ́ni Oyètọ́lá lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ láti díje. àmúṣá agbẹjọ́rò fẹ́gbẹ́ òṣèlú People's Democratic Party PDP àti gómìnà Adémọ́lá Adélékè ṣàlàyé pé kò tí ì yẹ kí olùdíje fẹ́gbẹ́ òṣèlú APC ó máa ṣe jàgínníyọ̀dò nítorí bó ṣe jẹ́ pé ìdájọ́ ilé ẹjọ́ kòtẹ́milọ́rùn náà ti wà nílé ẹjọ́ tó ga jùlọ lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà. táwọn agbẹjọ́rò fólùjẹ́jọ́ àti ti olùpẹ̀jọ́ náà sì sọ ìhà tí wọ́n kọ sí ìgbẹ́jọ́ ìgbìmọ̀ náà tó wáyé. nínú ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀nàrẹ́bù Níyì Owóládé tó ṣojú fún gómìnà Adémọ́lá Adélékè ló ti ṣàlàyé pé oníbàárà òun lè fìdí àwíjàre rẹ̀ múlẹ̀ dáadáa. bákan náà sì ni ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ṣeun Ẹ̀sán ti ṣe agbẹjọ́rò fẹ́gbẹ́ òṣèlú APC náà fèrò rẹ̀ hàn nípa ìjókòó tó wáyé ọ̀hún. Ọláwùmí Ọláníyì fún iléeṣẹ́ Osbc.
níbi ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun lábẹ́ ìdarí gómìnà Adémọ́lá Adélékè àti gómìnà àná ọ̀gbẹ́ni Adégbóyèga Oyètọ́lá ṣe ń fèsì ránṣẹ́ síra wọn lórí bí wọ́n ṣe kó gbogbo dúkìá ìjọba lọ nílẹ̀gbẹ́ ìjọba tí wọ́n sì sọ ibẹ̀ di gbòǹdùkú. ìwádìí kò iléeṣẹ́ Osbc sí ilé ìjọba àtàwọn ilégbèé tó wà ńbẹ̀ fi hàn pé ṣe ni wọ́n kó gbogbo dúkìá náà lọ pátápátá. oní iléeṣẹ́ yìí lọ́fíìsì gómìnà Abdulrahim Adékúnlékun múròyìnbó àbọ̀ ìròyìn rèé láti ẹnu Àbọ̀sẹ̀dé Alóńgẹ́.
ní báyìí tíjọba ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú People's Democratic Party tó gbé ìpínlẹ̀ àkóso ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun àti tẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú All Progressives Congress tó kó gbà sílé lábẹ́ ìdarí ọ̀gbẹ́ni Adégbóyèga Oyètọ́lá ti ń sọ̀kò ọ̀rọ̀ síra wọn lórí ipò táwọn dúkìá inú ilé ìjọba wà, èyí tí ìjọba tí sẹ́nẹ́tọ̀ Adémọ́lá Adélékè ń darí fẹ̀sùn kàn pé ìjọba tó lọ ti palẹ̀ àwọn dúkìá kan mọ́ nínú ilé ìjọba. ikọ̀ ìròyìn iléeṣẹ́ Osbc ṣàbẹ̀wò sílẹ̀gbẹ́ gómìnà tó wà nínú ọgbà ilé ìjọba láti lọ wo bí nǹkan ṣe rí gan-an. àbẹ̀wò sílé ìdáná tó wà nínú ilé gómìnà fi hàn pé kò sí nǹkan ìdáná kankan mọ́ nínú kíchìnì ọ̀hún bíi apá ìdáná, ṣíbí ọbẹ̀, ṣíbí ìjẹun, abọ́ ìjẹun àtàwọn ohun èlò míì tí gbogbo ibi tí wọ́n ń to àwọn nǹkan ọ̀hún sí tẹ́lẹ̀ sì ti mọ́ páfẹ́. ikọ̀ ìròyìn iléeṣẹ́ yìí tún ṣàkíyèsí pé wọ́n ti palẹ̀ àwọn nǹkan bíi ẹ̀rọ amúnǹkandì, freezer àtàwọn dúkìá míì tó ṣe kókó mọ́ nígbà tó sì kù ọwọ́ ẹ̀rọ ìdáná kúkà méjì, ẹ̀rọ amómitutù fíríjì méjì, ẹ̀rọ tí wọ́n fi ń dín nǹkan fráyà kan àti ẹ̀rọ tí wọ́n fi ń lọ ata nínú ilé blender tó jọ pé ó ti bàjẹ́. àpótí ìtọ́jú pàjáwìrì tá a mọ̀ sí first aid box tó wà nínú ilé ìdáná yìí ló kún fún kòròfo ìgò methylated spirit, páálí paracetamol tí ò sóògùn kankan nínú rẹ̀ àti ọ̀rá lásán tí kò lówó ètùtù nínú níbùgbé ààrẹ tá a mọ̀ sí presidential lodge nínú ilé ìjọba. Ìwádìí ikọ̀ ìròyìn iléeṣẹ́ yìí fi hàn pé àwọn kan ti yọ tẹlifíṣàn alálẹ̀mógiri kúrò nínú yàrá kan nísàlẹ̀ ilé ọ̀hún. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n tún gbé ẹ̀rọ amómitutù inú yàrá yìí kan náà lọ. Ọ̀kan lára àwọn ẹ̀rọ amómitutù nínú yàrá kan lókè ilé náà pẹ̀lú àwọn aṣọ orí ibùsùn tún ti dàwátì. Pabambarì rẹ̀ ni pé nígbà tí kọ ìròyìn iléeṣẹ́ Osbc dé ilégbèé ọ̀gá ikọ̀ elétò ààbò gómìnà tẹ́lẹ̀ rí chief security officer, kò sí àga ìjókòó kankan, ibùsùn, ohun èlò ìdáná, àwọn ẹ̀rọ tó ń lo iná ọba àtàwọn dúkìá kankan mọ́ nínú ilé oníyàrá 5 tá à ń wí yìí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kọ iléeṣẹ́ yìí tún ṣàkíyèsí pé wọ́n ti tú ẹ̀rọ amúlétutù tá a mọ̀ sí air conditioner lọ nínú yàrá ìgbàlejò ilé náà. Àmọ́ ṣá wọ́n ṣẹ́ àwọn ẹ̀rọ amúlétutù tó ti di tàtijọ́ tó dàbí pé wọ́n ti ṣíwọ́ ṣẹ́kù sára ògiri. Ilégbèé ẹni tó jẹ́ ẹ̀ṣọ́ gómìnà àná ìyẹn ADC ikọ̀ ìròyìn iléeṣẹ́ Osbc rí gbọ́ pé wọ́n ti dá púpọ̀ padà lára àwọn dúkìá tí wọ́n jí kó tẹ́lẹ̀. Lára àwọn dúkìá tí wọ́n ti dá padà ọ̀hún ni tẹlifíṣàn alálẹ̀mógiri, ẹ̀rọ amúlétutù 2, àga ìjókòó tó máa ń wà ní yàrá ìgbàlejò èyí tí wọ́n kó síta ilé náà. Nígbà tó ń sọ èrò rẹ̀ lórí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí, agbẹnusọ fún gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun Malam Ọláwálé Rasheed ṣàpèjúwe rẹ̀ bíi ohun ìtìjú ńlá gbáà tó tún bani lọ́kàn jẹ́.
Gbogbo àwọn tó jí nǹkan wọ́n mọ̀ pé wọ́n lè mú pé ẹ̀ ń bá gbé òkè kàkà kí ọba òkùnkùn tí ó ti fọ gbogbo àti ní asset recovery plan tó tó wọn á gbóòrò rẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn tó wà responsible gbogbo wọn lọ́wọ́ ọ̀sẹ̀ fún ìjọba náà.
Àbọ̀sẹ̀dé Àlùdé iléeṣẹ́ Osbc.
Ajàfẹ́tọ̀ọ́ ọmọnìyàn kan ní pàtàkì tó ń jà fún ẹ̀tọ́ àwọn obìnrin Citizen Lọ́láwé ti sọ pé mímáa yanjú aáwọ̀ tó bá ní ṣe pẹ̀lú yíyan obìnrin jẹ tàbí títẹ ẹ̀tọ́ wọn lójú láì ṣàmúlò ilé ẹjọ́ bí ìgbà téèyàn tó ń fààyè gba àwọn ìwà àìdáa yìí ni láwùjọ wa. Citizen Lọ́láwé wòye ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ní kété tó kópa tán lórí ètò ẹ̀ka ìròyìn àtọ̀rọ̀ tó lọ ti tẹlifíṣàn iléeṣẹ́ yìí Saturday Morning Treat. Ó ní gbogbo ẹ̀sùn tàbí ẹjọ́ tó bá ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ obìnrin ló jẹ́ pé ìjọba ló máa ń dá sí i tí kò sì yẹ kí wọ́n máa dọ̀wọ́ bò. Gẹ́gẹ́ bó ṣe sọ, àti kékeré lèèyàn ti pẹ̀ka àrókò nítorí àwọn ìwà yìí lè dàbí ẹni tẹ̀ ẹ̀tọ́ àwọn obìnrin lójú láwùjọ ni bí wọn ò bá tètè wá nǹkan ṣe sí i.
Pé ní gbangba ni èèyàn kankan tó mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ lọ fọwọ́ gbáàyàn nídìí ó ní nǹkan tó rò ó tẹ́ńbẹ́lú obìnrin bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ni ó yẹ kán gbé lọ sí court láti fi jófin fún àwọn èèyàn míì pé kán má ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ nítorí pé irú àwọn àṣà jágbajàgba báyìí ó wọ́pọ̀ láwùjọ wa tí ọkùnrin akàndédé rí obìnrin olóbìnrin ìyàwó oníyàwó ọmọ ọlọ́mọ tó ń lọ á lọ gbà nídìí fún kíni kò bá wọ aṣọ tó wù ìyẹn ò sọ pé kò yẹn ò pé kó wá fọwọ́ gbà ọ́ nídìí tó bá fọwọ́ gbà nídìí ó lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ ká fi jófin kó láti fi dẹ́kun irú ìwà bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n tó bá yẹ pé ọwọ́ ẹ̀ kàn ṣèṣì gba ẹnìyẹn níbi tí kò tọ́ a lè fojú fò dá.
Ìjọba àpapọ̀ tí lóun yóò gbé ìgbésẹ̀ tó gbópọn lórí àwọn iléeṣẹ́ àti lájọlájọ ìjọba àpapọ̀ tí wọ́n lọ́wọ́ nínú gbígba àwọn èèyàn ṣiṣẹ́ lọ́nà tí ò bófin mu láì wo bí ìjọba ṣe ti fòfin de ìgbésẹ̀ à ń gbani ṣiṣẹ́ látọdún 2020. Gẹ́gẹ́ bá jọ tó wà fọ́rọ̀ iṣẹ́ ọba tí ìjọba àpapọ̀ ṣe sọ, ìwà gbígba àwọn èèyàn ṣiṣẹ́ lọ́nà àìtọ́ yìí wọ́pọ̀ ní iléeṣẹ́ tó wà fọ́rọ̀ ìpawówọlé lábẹ́lé ti ìjọba àpapọ̀ NNPC, báńkì àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ yìí, àjọ tó wà fẹ́nu ibodè ilẹ̀ yìí àtàwọn àjọ míì. Olórí àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ọba lórílẹ̀‐èdè Ọ̀mọ̀wé Fọláṣadé Ẹ̀sán sọ pé ọ́fíìsì òun ti ń ṣe àwárí 1,200 àwọn tí wọ́n fún ní lẹ́tà ayédèrú ìgbanisíṣẹ́ ọba. Gẹ́gẹ́ bó ṣe wí, àwọn iléeṣẹ́ ìjọba kan ló ń fáwọn èèyàn yìí ní lẹ́tà ìgbanisíṣẹ́ tọ́fíìsì àwọn olórí àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ọba kò sì fọwọ́ sí i nígbà táwọn míì ń dí àwọn àlàfo tí ó ṣòfò pẹ̀lú gbígba àwọn ẹbí wọn àtàwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wọn síṣẹ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ó sọ pé àjọ tó wà fọ́rọ̀ iṣẹ́ ọba ti ìjọba àpapọ̀ kò mọ̀ nípa ìgbésẹ̀ yìí. òṣìṣẹ́ lórílẹ̀‐èdè NLC àti TUC ti rọ ìjọba àpapọ̀ pé kó tètè fòpin sí ọ̀wọ́n gógó epo petrol lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí. Olórí ẹgbẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí Comrade Ayuba Waba àti TUC ọ̀gbẹ́ni Festus Osifo ni wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ yìí nínú àtẹ̀jáde tí wọ́n dìjọ fọwọ́ sí nílùú Àbújá. Ó ní bí ọkọ̀ ṣe ń to àtògbémúlémú láwọn ilé epo táwọn èèyàn sì ń fi wọ́n ṣe wàhálà tí wọ́n fòrò kí wọ́n tó rí epo pẹtiróòlù rà kò bọ́ sí rárá fáwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Àgbáríjọ ẹgbẹ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ní kí ìjọba àpapọ̀ tètè wá wọ̀rọ̀ kan fi ṣàdá kí wọ́n fòpin sọ̀wọ́n gógó epo pẹtiróòlù àti bó ṣe di ìmí eékún lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Àtẹ̀jáde ọ̀hún fi kún un pé ìgbésẹ̀ náà kò dùn mọ́ ẹgbẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí nínú àti pé àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ti ṣe tán láti gbéná wojú ìjọba àpapọ̀ ó bá kọ̀ láti wá nǹkan ṣe. Àjọ tó ń ṣígun sáwọn tó ń powó ará ìlú ní pọ́npọ́ lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí EFCC ti sọ pé láti ọjọ́ ìṣẹ́gun tó ń bọ̀ àjọ náà yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ṣe àbẹ̀wò tí yóò sì lu òjìlélẹ́gbẹ̀ta ó lé mẹ́sàn-án àwọn ọkọ̀ tájọ náà gbẹ́sẹ̀ lé yíká ìpínlẹ̀ mẹ́sàn-án àti olúùlú ilẹ̀ yìí ní gbàǹjo. Ẹbí àjọ EFCC ṣe sọ àwọn tó wà ní ìgbọnà bí wọ́n ṣe máa ń ta àwọn nǹkan yìí lájọ ọ̀hún ti kàn sí láti lu àwọn ọkọ̀ náà tà. Àjọ EFCC ní ojúkorojú ni wọ́n ta àwọn ọkọ̀ náà tí wọ́n yóò sì ṣàmúlò ìtàkùn ayélujára ètò wà níbàámu pẹ̀lú òfin tó ṣe ìdásílẹ̀ àjọ EFCC àtẹ̀lé tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú títa dúkìá ìjọba tọdún 2007. Àjọ EFCC ni wọn yóò ṣe àgbéjáde àlàkalẹ̀ bí wọn yóò ṣe ta àwọn ọkọ̀ tí wọ́n rí gbà látọwọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n fẹ̀sùn ìwà àjẹbánu kàn lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí. Ní báyìí ẹ jẹ́ á takọ́sọ́ sí abala ìròyìn eré ìdárayá. Ayò tí Vincent Abubakar gbá wọlé fún Indomitable Lions ti Cameroon ló mú kí wọ́n fàgbà àwọn ikọ̀ torílẹ̀-èdè Brazil àmọ́ ṣe ni atukọ̀ ìdíje náà tí ó fún balógun ikọ̀ ọ̀hún Vincent Abubakar ní káàdì pupa tó ṣàfihàn pé wọ́n lé jáde pẹ̀lú bó ṣe bọ́ aṣọ lọ́rùn tó sì kọ́kọ́ gba yellow card níbẹ̀rẹ̀ ìfẹsẹ̀wọnsẹ̀ náà bó ti jẹ́ pé ikọ̀ Cameroon wọ́n jà fitafita wọ́n fi àgbà wọn Brazil síbẹ̀ wọ́n ti yọwọ́ wọn láwo ìdíje yìí nítorí ayò tí wọ́n ní òkójú òṣùwọ̀n. Ọmọ́táyọ̀ Adébọ́dún tẹ̀ka eré ìdárayá iléeṣẹ́ ìbẹ́gẹ́gẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ààbọ̀ ìròyìn ọ̀hún rèé ẹ̀jẹ̀ àbọ̀.
ẹ̀ka gbọ́gì nínú àwọn tó ń di ọwọ́ iwájú mú fún ilẹ̀ Argentina Lionel Messi yóò tún yọ sí bọ̀ǹbọ̀ lónìí pẹ̀lú bí yóò ṣe gbá bọ́ọ̀lù fún ìgbà ẹgbẹ̀rún kan 1000 times pẹ̀lú bí orílẹ̀-èdè Argentina yóò ṣe máa fẹsẹ̀wọnsẹ̀ pẹ̀lú Australia ìgbà 19 rèé tí yóò gbá bọ́ọ̀lù fún orílẹ̀-èdè rẹ̀. 450 ìgbà ló gbá bọ́ọ̀lù fún Barcelona ó ti di ìgbà 53 tí ó yọ sí bọ̀ǹbọ̀ fún ikọ̀ ti Paris Saint-Germain àti pé bí ikọ̀ Argentina bá fi lè bọ́rẹ́lẹ̀ lónìí a jẹ́ pé wọ́n jẹ́ tọ́nù nínú ìdíje ife ẹ̀yẹ àgbáyé. Ìgbà méjì òun náà ni Messi ti ráwọn yìí nínú ìdíje ife ẹ̀yẹ àgbáyé tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́ ní bó ṣe gbá ayò goliwòmí gbá sí ọwọ́lé nígbà tí wọ́n kojú ti Poland. Adarí ikọ̀ ti Argentina Nunes Scaloni sọ yìí pé ikọ̀ ọ̀hún ti gbáradì láti rí dájú pé àwọn náà takọ́sọ́bọ́ sí ìpele tó kàn nínú ìdíje ife ẹ̀yẹ àgbáyé. Otto Addo ti kọ̀wé fi ipò sílẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí adarí ikọ̀ agbábọ́ọ̀lù Ghana lẹ́yìn tí ikọ̀ náà ti fìdí rẹmi nínú ìpín tí wọ́n wà. Otto Addo ẹni ọdún 57 ló jẹ́ agbábọ́ọ̀lù ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Ghana tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ tí wọ́n sì yàn sí ipò adarí náà nígbà tí wọ́n fọwọ́ sí júwe ilé fún Milovan Rajevac lóṣù kejì ọdún yìí. Adelé ló jẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ fún ikọ̀ agbábọ́ọ̀lù ti Ghana kó tó di pé wọ́n wá yàn án sí ipò náà. Bákan náà ló jẹ́ adarí ikọ̀ agbábọ́ọ̀lù tó múnámúná tó sì ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú ti Borussia Dortmund lórílẹ̀‐èdè Germany. Ẹgbẹ́ agbábọ́ọ̀lù Ghana fàgbà hàn South Korea nínú ìfẹsẹ̀wọnsẹ̀ tí ó wáyé ṣùgbọ́n wọn ò kójú òṣùwọ̀n pẹ̀lú bí wọ́n ṣe yọwọ́ wọn láwo láì wo bí wọ́n ṣe fàgbà wọn Uruguay. ẹ̀wẹ̀ Vincent Abubakar tó jẹ́ ẹni tó gbáyò kan ṣoṣo wọlé níbi tí orílẹ̀-èdè Cameroon ti fi àgbà àwọn Brazil pẹ̀lú àmì ayò kan ṣoṣo ní inú rẹ̀ dùn pẹ̀lú bó ṣe jẹ́ pé ó fihàn lọ́lẹ̀ láì wo bí wọ́n ṣe ti bọ́rẹ́lẹ̀ nínú ìdíje ọ̀hún bí ó ṣe wá gbáyò wọlé yìí tó sì bọ́ aṣọ lọ́rùn ló mú kí wọ́n lè kúrò lórí pápá ṣùgbọ́n ṣá Abubakar ló jẹ́ agbábọ́ọ̀lù kan ṣoṣo tí ó gbáyò náà wọlé tí wọ́n sì lè kúrò lórí pápá lẹ́yìn Zinedine Zidane tóun náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ lásìkò tí orílẹ̀-èdè rẹ̀ àti Italy kojú ara wọn lọ́dún 2006 láì wo pé wọ́n fàgbà àwọn Brazil àwọn náà ti lọ sílé padà báyìí nítorí bí múṣemúṣe wọn kò ṣe dá múṣemúṣe nínú ìdíje ife ẹ̀yẹ àgbáyé tí Qatar ń gbàlejò rẹ̀.
ilẹ̀ òkèèrè àjọ elétò ìrẹ́ alágbàáyé ti sọ pé àjọ ìṣọ̀kan àgbáyé ò mà láǹfààní láti kó àwọn nǹkan ìrànwọ́ dé ẹkùn Tigray lórílẹ̀‐èdè Ethiopia láì wo bí wọ́n ṣe ti dáwọ́ ogun dúró lẹ́kùn náà láti bí oṣù kan sẹ́yìn. Káyọ̀dé Adébáyọ̀ tàn mọ́lẹ̀ sáwọn tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ òkèèrè làbárè rẹ̀ rí láti ẹnu Láwùmí Láníyì.
àjọ elétò ìlera lágbàáyé ti fi léde pé àjọ ìṣọ̀kan àgbáyé kò tí ì láǹfààní láti kó àwọn ohun èlò ìdẹ̀rùn dé ẹkùn Tigray lórílẹ̀‐èdè Ethiopia láì wo bí àwọn ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lágbègbè yìí ṣe ti dáwọ́ dúró láti bí oṣù kan sásìkò yìí. ẹ̀ka tó mójútó ètò ìlera nínú àjọ ìṣọ̀kan àgbáyé ti wá sọ pé kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ mẹ́ta kan ṣoṣo tó ráàyè kó ohun èlò ìrànwọ́ ló ti wọ ẹkùn ìlà oòrùn Tigray tí yóò sì ṣẹ̀yìn àti lè tètè mú ìdẹ̀rùn bá àwọn èèyàn tó jẹ́ pé láti bí ọdún méjì ni làásìgbò tó ń wáyé ti dá wàhálà sọ́kàn wọn. a ó rántí pé ìjọba ilẹ̀ Ethiopia àtàwọn ológun lẹ́kùn Tigray fẹnukò láti dìjọwọ́ náà báyọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ogun tó ń wáyé yìí èyí tó ló ti rán ọ̀pọ̀ ẹ̀mí lọ sọ́run àrèmábọ̀ tí ẹgbẹ̀lẹ́gbẹ̀ sì ti di aláìnílé lórí. gẹ́gẹ́ bí olùdarí ẹ̀ka pàjáwìrì nínú àjọ elétò ìlera lágbàáyé dókítà Michael Ryan ṣe wí kì í ṣe pé àlàáfíà tó ṣe sàn ti padà sáwọn agbègbè tí ogun fàyà pẹ̀rẹ̀pẹ̀rẹ̀ náà àmọ́ tó ṣe pàtàkì láti tètè dìde ìrànwọ́ ní kíákíá nítorí pé púpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn lẹ́kùn Tigray ló nílò ìrànlọ́wọ́ ní pàtàkì lórí ètò ìlera wọn. ó ní wàhálà tó wà lápá ìwọ̀ oòrùn Tigray tó jẹ́ agbègbè táwọn ológun ti lọ gbàkóso báyìí àtàwọn agbègbè míì táwọn ikọ̀ ológun Eritrea wà nílò ìrànlọ́wọ́. ẹ̀wẹ̀ ìjọba ilẹ̀ Ethiopia ti kéde pé àwọn ológun rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ti ẹkùn Tigray ti kórajọpọ̀ láti gbé ìgbésẹ̀ tó yẹ èyí tó ní ó ṣeé ṣe kí wọ́n lọ tọwọ́ bọ ìwé àdéhùn àlàáfíà ní South Africa lóṣù tó ń bọ̀. wáyé àjọ kan tó wà fọ́rọ̀ ètò ìlera tó péye nílẹ̀ Gẹ̀ẹ́sì ti sọ pé látòṣù kẹsàn-án ọdún yìí èwe 6 pẹ̀lú àwọn 5 míì tọ́jọ́ orí wọn kò ju ọdún 10 lọ ló ti jáde láyé nípasẹ̀ àìsàn kan tó fẹ́ dàbí ibà ṣùgbọ́n tí kò tí ì fi bẹ́ẹ̀ farahàn. bákan náà lọmọbìnrin kan láti Wales jọlọ́run nípè ṣùgbọ́n kò tí ì sí àkọsílẹ̀ wípé ẹnikẹ́ni kú ní Scotland àti Northern Ireland. àìsàn yìí ni kò fi bẹ́ẹ̀ le kókókó àmọ́ tó lè dá àyàn gúnlẹ̀ tó bá wòrà tán bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé àìsàn náà kò tí ì fi bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́pọ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ó jẹyọ púpọ̀ lọ́dún yìí nílẹ̀ Gẹ̀ẹ́sì ní pàtàkì láàrin àwọn èwe tí kò ju ọmọ ọdún 10 lọ. lára àpẹẹrẹ àrùn náà ni ọ̀nà ọ̀fun dídùn àti ara yíyún. wọ́n tún ní ó lè ṣokùnfà ibà tí kò fi bẹ́ẹ̀ le tó sì gbọ́ wíwò pẹ̀lú àwọn oògùn ibà. Ọláwùmí Ọláníyì iléeṣẹ́ Osbc.
àríjù báyìí lórí àkójọpọ̀ ìròyìn talẹ́ òní. Ọláwùmí Ọláníyì olóòtú ẹ̀rọ àpò mọ́ wa láago 12 kọjá ìṣẹ́jú 15 lọ́la nígbà tá a sì máa mú àwọn ènìyàn fún yín títí ọ̀la kásùn láyọ̀ kájú láyọ̀ ó dàárọ̀.
wish you a Merry Christmas.
My name is Femi Adebayo. This holiday season, Star Times is taking us to a better level. You can step up your family entertainment with the Star Times upgrade promo. You recharge 2 months on Nova Bouquet and get upgraded to Basic or Smart Bouquet. Recharge 2 months on Basic or Smart Bouquet, you get upgraded to Classic or Super Bouquet. And if you recharge 2 months on Classic or Super Bouquet, you get 10 days free on your subscription. This upgrade automatically qualifies you for a weekly draw to win 55-inch smart TV, PA systems, home appliances, and more. These prizes are proudly sponsored by Long Reach, Wayon, and Amaz. This promo is from the 15th November to 15th January 2023. Times and conditions apply. On Star Times, every day is the best day ever. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Star Times. Entertain your family.
ti dé aráyé ẹ wá bá wa yọ̀ ìgbà yìí o àsàn wá síre ìgbà ọ̀tún ti dé aráyé ẹ wá bá wa yọ̀ ìgbà yìí o á tù wá lára. Ìgbà ọ̀tún ti dé aráyé ẹ wá bá wa yọ̀ ìgbà yìí o àsàn wá síre. Ìgbà ọ̀tún ti dé aráyé ẹ wá bá wa yọ̀ ìgbà yìí o á tù wá lára. Ìgbà yìí á tù wá lára o láyé Adémọ́lá.
Arrests and convictions related to the illegal business. Despite these efforts, however, more Nigerians between the ages of 15 and 64 still abuse drugs, while 1 in every 4 drug user is said to be a woman. This remains a concern, not only because drug abuse constitutes a social problem, but also because of the effects on health. While this social problem was mainly urban-based, reports now show that it also thrives in rural areas. Those who know say drug trafficking, terrorism, kidnapping, and money laundering are all entangled and interrelated. So, Nigeria, like all countries of the world, is working to urgently stop by taking measures to rid society of drugs and criminals. And that's our focus on Weekend File tonight. Femi Babafemi, Director of Media Advocacy, NDLEA, joins us via Zoom, while Dr. Hope Omaiza, National Coordinator. Thank you for joining us. But first, the news. President Yemi Osinbajo departs Abuja today for the Socialist Republic of Vietnam for high-level bilateral engagements in a Southwest nation, including meetings with the President of Vietnam, the Vice President, the Prime Minister, and other government officials and the business community. The Vice President's reciprocal visit to the Southeast Asian nation will further strengthen trade and bilateral relations between both countries. During the visit to the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, the Vice President is expected to witness the signing of memorandum of understanding and agreements between Nigeria and Vietnam, as well as hold high-level diplomatic discussions with his Vietnamese counterpart and other important issues on trade, commerce, agriculture, technology, and innovation. Professor Shibajo will also participate in a business forum at the Vietnamese Chamber of Commerce aimed at matchmaking entrepreneurs from both countries, with the opportunities existing in agriculture, technology, in Nigeria and Vietnam. Discussions by both countries will focus on mutual benefits from effective collaboration in these sectors and thereby deepen the friendly and trade relations of both countries. The Vice President will conclude the Vietnam visit on Wednesday. And back home, President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, to follow dynamics in politics and guide the nation on the application of global best practices. He stated this in a message to the graduation of NIPS Senior Executive Course 44 2022. Ndiang Adeyaba Gang reports.
Members of the Senior Executive Course 44 have been found worthy to be conferred with the prestigious title Member of the National Institute, MNI, after undergoing 10 months of vigorous training.
I feel fulfilled. I also have this sense of commitment.
President Muhammadu Buhari, represented by the Minister of Transportation, Muazu Jaji Sambo, while noting the contributions of the National Institute, telling it to be at par and even surpass the best think tank amongst policy institutes in the world.
This administration, like the ones before it, find in NIPS a strong and dependable ally.
The Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, and Governor Simon Lalong, represented, as well as other critical stakeholders, emphasized the need for the Institute to draw up a standard foreign policy for Nigeria for its development.
The role of the National Institute in the Nigerian Development Project has become increasingly vital.
Representative of President Buhari also inaugurated the NIPS Community School and a weather station constructed and donated to the Institute by Sec 44.
The President has said this is one of the best sets he has had to engage with. And of course, we have seen for ourselves the kind of projects they have also done.
The Legacy Project is part of the Sec 44 social responsibilities to the Institute, the host community, and the state in general. In Jos, Indian and the Abidjan, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigerian science and technology field in academics is recording a spike in the number of graduates. However, the sector is yet to be practically impactful, and this was a major issue of discussion as the African University of Science and Technology held its 9th convocation. Abdullahi Musa Soleja reports.
Apart from other sectors, science and technology play a pivotal role in advancement of every nation. In Nigeria, however, the sector is still dominated by imported technologies, with a local university yearly graduating students in the field populating the labor market searching for white-collar jobs. This is a challenge at African University of Science and Technology in Abuja. They created 145 students cutting across different levels of certificates. Speaking on the power of sustained self-confidence, Executive Vice Chairman, National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, Professor Muhammad Enthusiasm, ambition and resourcefulness.
I understand that the graduates are from Cameroon, Sudan, South Sudan, Rwanda, Zimbabwe, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Liberia, and Nigeria. I had 3 other countries that were not in my list to make to go out and deploy to attend to these African problems. That is your value addition and not your degrees.
Nobody will come from outside to bail us out. We have to work hard to build our continent.
The university is not just doing research, but also being able to do innovation and startups and also contributing to the productive economy.
The university was established as a response to a request by several African heads of state Grand Mandela to create an African Center of Excellence to improve Sub-Saharan Africa. NTNU.
And still in education, as part of efforts aimed at tackling the growing trend of examination malpractice in the country, the National Examination Council, NECO, at the one-day workshop has called on stakeholders to rise up to the challenge as the menace has become an issue of national concern. Iyabo Wale Area reports that the workshop was in collaboration with the National Assembly Committee on Universal Basic Education.
Global statistics shows that over 50,000 students are involved in examination malpractice annually. The National Examination Council noted that the menace remains the biggest challenge bedeviling the conduct of public examinations in the country. The workshop is described as timely as it will address the ways and means that can be adopted to curb the cankerworm.
Some stakeholders in education are doing their best to make sure that exam malpractice is curbed. It has still continued to be a cankerworm in the education sector.
The Minister of Education, Adamu, in his message, charged the nation's examination body to be more proactive in dealing with the menace.
Examination malpractice has become so serious and critical that we must adopt the best method of detecting and preventing this danger.
Give your children good training and stop participating in examination malpractices.
If you look at how a parent, a mother or a father will want to aid a child to cheat in an examination, then you will wonder what the wish of such a parent is.
Some states collect this money and they do nothing with it, they divert it. And there is no sanction against such states. So I believe that the starting point is for people in the position of authority to take responsibility.
It is now obvious that examination is being judged by the certificate. Let the principal be protected by enacting laws that will protect the principal from harassment.
The workshop has been scheduled to take place in other zones of the country. In Lagos, Iyabo Wale Eri, NTA News.
And away from education, Nigeria is working to achieve net zero emissions in energy consumption with the adoption of renewable energy sources for power supply. Joshua Ojitu reports that in meeting the target for energy transition, the federal government unveiled a roadmap for implementation.
2060 is Nigeria's target date to achieving net zero emissions and close the energy gap. With potential for solar, wind, biomass and abundant gas deposit in the country, sector players believe Nigeria is on the right path in meeting its energy transition plan. A roadmap unveiled by the Energy Commission of Nigeria with opportunities for investment and job creation in the renewable energy subsector.
The remap report on Nigeria demonstrates how the renewable energy resources of Nigeria can be integrated and scaled up to achieve a sustainable energy mix.
Indeed, in the report it's indicated that the potentials of harnessing solar PV for electricity generation is up to over 200 gigawatts, and for concentrated solar power about 80 gigawatts. So there are greater potentials that we can exploit. The issue of net zero is not absolute zero. The meaning is that we can still continue to use oil and gas emitting, but then as years come by, we'll be absorbing the emission through two major schemes. One is the issue of carbon capture and sequestration, and the second one, which environmentalists like a lot, is the plantations of trees.
While federal government is deploying solar hybrid plants to unserved and underserved communities, the consensus among sector players is for government to sustain advocacy on the need to adopt renewable energy sources for power supply. Joshua Ojitu, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the operation of an effective audit system in both public and private sectors will serve as panacea to address the issue of misappropriation of funds and corrupt practices at all levels of government. This was the submission of internal audit practitioners at the Fellowship and National Dialogue session in Lagos. Abolade Salami brings us details.
Maintaining efficiencies in regular operation towards achieving reliability of financial statements in both public and private organizations depend largely on the effectiveness of internal auditors. Towards this end, internal audit practitioners are comparing notes on how best to ensure compliance with ethics of the profession.
Our legislators, they should look into the practice of internal auditing in Nigeria and come up with, a position that will protect and ensure that internal audits is conducted effectively.
So for the auditor to be able to perform his duty well, he or she must have this independence of mind, must have the free rein to be able to do his work without fear or favor.
Identifying strategic plan, proper management of funds, and a strong internal control mechanism as measures capable of preventing collapse of business, as well as reduce risk in any organization where internal audit is not compromised. Practitioners added that competence and credibility must be prioritized.
So automatically it means that if internal auditors do what they are supposed to do, we have law-abiding organizations, we have law-abiding individuals.
Internal control in any organization, if it's effective, it will reduce fraud to a greater extent.
The 2022 Fellowship and National Dialogue meeting has as its theme internal auditing, tool to effective risk management, governance, control, and compliance, a panacea to our address corruption menace. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
You're watching Weekend File on the network service of the NTA. Time for a break. When we come back, we shall talk politics. Please stay.
The next edition of the PMB Administration Scorecard Series will feature the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu. Date Monday, 5th December 2022. Time 10:30 a.m. Venue National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja. The event will be covered live by NTA, FRCN, and VON, and streamed on the social media handles of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer, Mrs. Lydia Shehu Jafia, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Fighting here and there, we don't want it at all. Killing people today, tomorrow, we don't want it at all. And we don't want separation. You do your own, I do my own. Make it go. No. We don't want that one. We may quarrel and disagree, but let it be on the table of dialogue. No blood, chaos, war, violence. Let us stand with our nation as one people. And we must also stand for the armed forces. They are our husbands and wives. They are our brothers and sisters. Please support the armed forces, whose lives are always on the front line to protect our nation. Nigeria is your own. Nigeria is mine. Nigeria is our own. Our uniqueness is in our oneness. Our oneness is our strength.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, on behalf of the officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army, announces the commencement of the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2022 with the theme, Building a Professional Nigerian Army for the 21st Century Security Environment. Date, the 4th to the 10th of December 2022. Venue, International Conference Center, Kasarawa, along Sultan Abubakar III International Airport Road, Sokoto State. Time, 8 a.m. daily. Nigerian Army, pride of the nation. Announcer, Brigadier General Oyema Wachiko, Director, Army Public Relations.
Is there ahead?
New Ovaltine 3-in-1. Smart choice for smart kids.
My people, my name is Emeka. come buy motor for my hand, carry big money, come give me. Now when we did bust, then my eye open. I don't know to that 419 in be. Now when EFCC bam, then they come back me too. Now he make me the warn you, all of them when they do business like me, when they carry big money, well I go sometimes I go carry transfer, carry bring back. Look when I shine in my eye because the special control unit against money laundering, what they call school, they don't want to say if the money pass 5 million naira for individual, no collect them. If it pass 10 million naira for company, no collect them. Can I go where? Bank. If you don't do them like that, 250,000 naira for every day where this offense happen. Or they go suspend your license, or they go shut them down, for your hand. You don't say, I don't want you.
This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Nigeria, get ready. Industries, get ready. The dollar is cast and all is set for the first ever National Environmental Compliance Awards, NECA. Deserving facilities in different sectors will receive the award for their compliance with environmental regulations. These awards will be presented by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, date 6 December 2022, venue the Conference Center of the Presidential Villa. This event is powered by the National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency, NESRA, a parastatal of the Federal Ministry of Environment. Hashtag NESRA Award 2022. NESRA, ensuring a cleaner and healthier environment for all Nigerians.
Welcome back. The PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar has advised the general public not to fall victim to any empowerment scheme purported sponsored by him. Statement by the media advisor to Atiku, Paul Ibe, notes that this is a scam orchestrated by fraudsters and advised security agencies to investigate the source of the said scheme. Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, says his rescue and recovery mission is all-inclusive, conceptualized to bring succor to the generality of the Nigerian populace. The former vice president made the comments at the inauguration of the Persons Living with Disabilities arm of the PDP Presidential Council. Onotu Yakubu reports.
Available statistics indicate existence of between 20 to 31 million persons living with disabilities in Nigeria. Amongst them is the patron and gubernatorial candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Niger State, as well as one-time member of the National Assembly, Senator Hayatu Gwarzo, and members of some state assemblies constituted in this council. National chairman of the PDP, Senator Iyocha Ayu, inaugurated the council, which will be directed by the only PDP member in the Zamfara State House of Assembly, Salihu Usman Zurmi.
It means integration, and PDP believes and accepted people with disability are voting massively.
I believe that as a country and as a people and as a party, the only way forward for those living with disabilities is to work to ensure that Atiku Abubakar becomes the president.
PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, who eulogized the invaluable contributions of the persons living with disabilities to national growth and development, pledged immediate implementation of the 5% reservations for them by law to harness inclusion for equal opportunities if given the mandate.
The most important thing is that you are a productive part of our population. In other words, you contribute your own quota as far as our development is concerned in various sectors of our economy.
Beating its chest as the only party with the instruments to entrench persons living with disabilities-oriented initiatives, the PDP charged the council to consciously harness consultations with external stakeholders to form acceptable templates and utilize
their strength to ensure that the party coasts to victory next year. Onoto Yakubu, NTA News.
Similarly, the All Progressives Congress National Leader of the People Living with Disabilities, Tulu Bankwale, has expressed confidence that the plights of the physically challenged will be further enhanced if APC retains power beyond 2023. Tulu Bankwale was speaking during the media briefing in commemoration with the International Day of People Living with Disabilities. He said the theme for this year's celebration, Transformative Solutions for Inclusive Development, calls for actionable approach towards addressing critical needs of persons living with disabilities.
Disabilities to recognize the dignity, achievements, and essential contributions of Nigeria's over 25 million persons. This means about 1 in every 8 Nigerians live with at least one form of disability. In a country where the physically challenged face constant discrimination, especially in the teeming labor market.
Clearly appreciates the breakthroughs recorded in entertainment, economic, and socio-political spheres of the country, and says with more recognition given to the persons with, the nation will be a center for global attraction. Meanwhile, Tinubu Shetima 2023 Presidential Campaign Council wants supporters to fully equip themselves with the permanent voters card as a tool to work for the victory of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shetima. Secretary to the Campaign Council, James Falake, while receiving an office donated to the council in Abuja, acknowledged the enthusiasm of party members across the country. Salihu Gwanara reports.
From Jos to Ebonyi, Lagos and Bayelsa, the APC Presidential Campaign Council's Secretary, James Faleke, says the support for Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shetima shows members' readiness to renew the hope agenda of the party's presidential candidate. Gesture like these by the National Agenda for Greater Asiwaju with the slogan, knocking on the door, he agrees, is a timely effort that should be translated into mobilizing support towards electoral victory.
We want people like you to contribute to show love to others and of course to bring Nigeria to a level that will be enviable for other countries. We pray that by the grace of God, come February 25th, elections will be free and fair, and we use this opportunity to tell Nigerians to please go out and collect your PVCs.
This corporate office for Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Shetima, we want to deliver 2.5 million votes for Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
We are focused on what we are doing. Our own is knocking on the door, moving from door to door to ensure that we get out the votes.
The office complex located in the heart of Abuja is expected to add value to the Tinubu Shetima campaign in Abuja. Salihu Gwanara, NTA News.
And still talking politics, the APC Presidential Campaign Council has described as shocking the continuous invitation from Arise TV inviting its presidential candidate Bola Tinubu for a presidential town hall debate, despite repeated replies that Bola Tinubu will not participate. A statement by the Director, Media and Publicity, Bayo Onanuga, the APC Presidential Campaign Council has its program of activities that the party is following religiously, and participation in any other forum is the prerogative of the candidate. Now, former President of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, says this is the right time for Nigerians to learn from their past lessons and make the right decision in the interest of the country. This was at a public presentation of a book in his honor entitled The Letterman, held in Abuja. Salihu Gwanara reports.
It was consensus at this forum of Nigerians from all walks of life, including former Nigerian leader Olusegun Obasanjo, that so much is yet to be achieved from the God-given human resources to sustain and showcase the right leaders that will positively turn around the country's fortune for prosperity. They believe the time is now for Nigerians to make the right choice for the betterment of the country.
I believe the right lesson must be learned. We have all that we need to have. God has given us all that we need to have. we are not doing what we should do, it's not God. God is not to blame. We should blame ourselves.
Many here, including the representative of the APC presidential candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Femi Fani-Kayode, says the former Nigerian leader Olusegun Obasanjo has made impact as an architect of a modern Nigeria.
But President Obasanjo is assured of a very special place in the history of Nigeria, the history of Africa, and indeed the history of the world. He's extremely intelligent, very discerning, very sharp, very firm, very, very tough, and most importantly, he's very patriotic. He loves this country with a passion.
Authored by Musiliki Mojid, the 466-page book, The Letterman, chronicles the secret letters of the former Nigerian president Olusegun Obasanjo. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
And then security, the Office of the National Security Advisor has launched a program charged Nigeria Call for Action. The program is to guide treatment of children associated with terrorist groups and to place Nigeria in a global peace map.
It is observed that terrorists perpetrate their violent activities through the recruitment and exploitation of children. This development led the federal government to adopt holistic approaches to prevent and respond to violence against children by terrorist groups. The Nigeria Call for Action Initiative, a collaborative effort between the federal government and the United Nations Office on Drug and Crimes, has a clear-cut mandate.
With this important document, the Nigerian government have further strengthened the mechanism to prevent and respond to violence against children. It is our hope that the document will provide direct support and guide in protecting children from terrorism.
I want to assure you that the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs is ever available, ever ready with its team of experts to technically explore the contents and make the best uses of the Nigerian Call for Action.
Together with the European Union, we join the international community, including many members of the groups of friends on children in armed conflict present here today, in congratulating the government on these critical achievements, and we look forward in working with all the partners towards the effective implementation of this very important initiative.
Stakeholders described the program as timely as Nigeria addresses the myriads of security challenges confronting her. Recruitment of young ones, if not tackled early, they say could be a time bomb.
In other news, the Nigerian Television Authority has pledged to support the costs of the One Oma initiative, which drives to support the vulnerable in the North. Abdul Malik Hassan reports.
But still the fight rages against substance abuse and illicit drugs in Nigeria, and for as long as it subsists, drug abuse and trafficking. The One Uma Scholarship Program for less privileged targets orphaned and vulnerable children, especially those affected by insurgency, with a new hope of attending school. They are here at the Nigerian Television Authority in furtherance of their agenda.
Currently we have 408 of them in school across Maiduguri, Yola, and here in Abuja. To try as much as possible and see what can we do to reduce the number of out-of-school children. That's why we deem it fit to come here to see if there's any collaboration that NTA and One Woman can do to see that we'll be able to achieve our objective.
When we look at it, we can say Northeast is now more peaceful than the Northwest. So all these things, the government, as you said, is doing its best. And there is social responsibility which we can take without asking for. So I assure you, all your programs will be aired without charging a single copy. Thank you.
Much hope given, the future of the children appears brighter. Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
Time for another break. Please stay.
is joy to the world.
Oh yeah, it's that time of year again.
FRCN, NTA and Voice of Nigeria's Service of 9 Lessons and Carols ushers us into the joyous mood of Christmas.
With beautiful renditions from different choirs that will lift our spirits.
Theme, Fear Not.
Venue, National Christian Center, Abuja.
Date, 4th December 2022.
Time, 3 p.m.
Message giver, His Eminence, Most Reverend Daniel Oko, President, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN.
Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, GCON, Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Hosts, Directors General, FRCN, NTA and Voice of Nigeria.
Chief Host, Alhaji Muhammad, Minister of Information and Culture.
FRCN, NTA and Voice of Nigeria's Service of 9 Lessons and Carols, supported by Christian Association of Nigeria.
Come worship with us as we celebrate Christ, the newborn King.
Be there.
Now you can get a GoTV decoder, GoTenor, and 1 month of GoTV Jolly for only 4,900 Naira and enjoy all the show-stopping games live from Qatar on GoTV.
Welcome back. The renewed clampdown on drug trafficking and abuse by the NDLEA has further exposed the dangers of this illicit practice, especially among youths. But winning this war is not the responsibility of the NDLEA alone. Let's hear from Abdul Malik Hassan on the issue of the social problem.
Bad fault, but still the fight rages against substance abuse and illicit drugs in Nigeria, and for as long as it subsists, drug abuse and trafficking both stand as setbacks to the attainment of some of Nigeria's national goals. It is believed that 1 in every 3 households is affected by this problem, though many seem oblivious of the gravity of the challenge. About 5 months ago, I met up with an addict whose identity we have chosen not to disclose in this report. His supposed place of abode, which incidentally doubles as his business premise, is noticeably a stone throw from a subtly disguised drug trade joint, which through business is known by the locals in Suleja community, Niger State. I have reached the stage that if I don't take drugs, I can't work, even though I wish to stop. Between January 2021 and October 31st, 2022, the Anti-Narcotics Agency has arrested 23,907 suspects, with many seizures and prosecutions. And while the wheels of justice grind slowly, the campaign against illicit drug trade continues, with some even criticizing the courts for allegedly being lenient on suspects.
I've had cases where some of the dealers were fined 3,000 naira in court. They paid it right there and work in freemen to continue with their activities.
We have removed all of those 2,000, 3,000 that the Act allow as fine. We have made it stiffer.
The projections that have been given for 2030 that says that in Africa we have a 40% increase. That actually should give us serious cause for concern.
The idea is for governments and organizations to focus more on prevention activities.
The war on the illicit drug trade and abuse in Nigeria is multifaceted. The NDLEA had on June 10th, 2022, launched a helpline 0800 10 20 30 40 to assist those dying in silence. Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
Many thanks, Abdul Malik, for that background report. And as activities of drug peddlers through trafficking and substance abuse continue from different dimensions and threats to internal security, the war against illicit drugs has further been pushed. It intensifies efforts to rid the society of the menace. In this report, Adiola Komiakere highlights the successes recorded in consolidating the fight against illicit drug trafficking and abuse.
In the Ikorodu area of Lagos, considered to be the single largest seizure so far.
We are sending a message to drug dealers. There's no need thinking you can hide. We will get you wherever you are.
Stakeholders are intensifying efforts to frustrate activities in the supply chain.
Bandits, Boko Haram, they use all these substances to charge them up in a way to allow them carry out their dastardly acts. It is our responsibility to ensure that illicit items do not find their way in.
Without intelligence, little can be achieved. There had to be constant raid of the identified chains to ensure that the National Drug Law Master Plan of 2021 through to 2025 is sustained. All and sundry should be passionate about winning the war against illicit drugs and substance abuse for a healthier society. In Lagos, Adiola Komiakere, NTA News.
All right, and joining me now in the studio to talk more on this issue is Femi Babafemi, Director of Media and Advocacy, NDLEA, or rather, he joins me via Zoom. Femi Babafemi, Director of Media and Advocacy, NDLEA, can you hear me? Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Babafemi, can you hear me? All right, while he tries to fix his audio, joining me in the studio is the coordinator of Vanguard Against Drug Abuse, Dr. Hope Omeza. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right, do we have Babafemi on now? All right, so while I'm sure we'll connect with him in the course of the program, I'll quickly just start with you, Dr. Omeza. You watched those two reports, and of course, NDLEA is doing so much, to get rid of this illicit trade and, of course, drug abuse. Why do you think it's still an issue, and if you may say, on the increase?
Well, it's still an issue because today we have new population of people who get into the use of these substances. And which is why the discussion on consolidating the efforts with respect to eliminating or reducing drug abuse and the trafficking is important. Yeah, so it means that we need to work more on the feats that have been achieved by the NDLA. As we see in the report today, the NDLA has done so much in terms of clamping down on drug traffickers. Between January 2021 and August this year, there have been a lot of seizures ranging up to about 5.4 million kilograms of hard substances. And they've also, arrested about 21,302 suspects of traffickers, as well as 28 drug barons. So this is an unprecedented achievement, and which needs to be consolidated upon. I think that is why this discussion is important at this time.
Okay, great. But what about the campaign that was launched about a year ago? That's talking about the war against drug abuse. How would you rate the success of that campaign?
Yeah, I would say that the war against drug abuse is the campaign tagged War Against Drug Abuse has achieved. With the recent, with the leadership that the agency currently has, that is putting everything on point to ensure that there is progress and results. However, we need to do more in terms of prevention. I think the discussion as it regards to drug trafficking and drug use majors basically on two components of drug control. One, which is drug supply, and second, which is drug demand reduction. The agency as it stands today, the NDLA, I'm aware they have departments on these key areas. Now, so far, most of the successes being popularized by the agency major on the drug supply reduction, which concerns seizures, clamping down on drug traffickers and drug barons. Now, it's important that we begin to look at the drug demand reduction. I'm also aware that the agency have, done so much in terms of drug demand reduction, as that's to do with the toll-free
the toll-free number, which was mentioned by one of our reporters.
Yeah, I also know that they give free counseling to people and have some of these pick-up centers where they are able to do counseling for individuals. However, it's important that we step up funding for treatment and care. It's so important that awareness programs that are specific for various groups are intensified upon, so that people know the dangers of drug abuse. And it's not just enough to come to the media and say no to drugs, or say yes to life, say no to heroin, be a hero and all of those. That doesn't change anybody. There are key evidence-based information and programs that have been proven to yield results. Okay, recently, last month I think, the United Nations Office on Drugs and on supporting the Nigerian government on drug response.
All right, we'll get back to you on that so that you can, enlighten us on what we can actually do to reduce drug use now. And I hear that Baba Femi is ready to speak with us. Baba Femi, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
All right, beautiful.
I can hear you loud.
Okay, so yes, you are from the NDLA and of course in a better position to speak to us on this. So we see the reports, NDLA is doing so much, drug traffickers being clamped down, drugs being recovered and destroyed and all of that. But there are reports that the reason why, the success is not clamping down on drug traffickers is concerned is because it's only the couriers that are being arrested and convicted, that the drug barons and cartels are untouchable. Is that true?
I want to correct the claim that what is being done at the moment is not much of a huge success, because I know that in the history of Nigeria, I doubt if when it comes to drug supply reduction, when you talk of seizure of over 5.5 million kilograms, that is more than 5,500 tons of illicit drugs seized within, mopped up from our streets, from our communities within a space of 22 months. That's huge enough. And then when you look at also the arrest and for the first time again in the history of Nigeria, you are looking at, you are seeing those that had been untouchable, that had remained invisible for years, talking of the drug bearers, because now we don't just go after the moles, the traffickers, the dealers, but we go after those who have the resources to invest heavily in this illicit trade. We go after the moles, we mop up the moles from the streets, from the communities. We go after the big barons, those that have remained untouchable for years. And as I speak with you, we have 29 of them right in behind bars. For those that are not behind bars, they are facing trial in the law court. So that is huge enough. And then going beyond this, you also talk of prosecution. For the first time again, we're having quite a number of them being thrown behind being thrown into jail. This is to actually deter those that think they can get away with committing crime. But beyond that, again, like Dr. Hope Omeza had rightly said in the studio, quite a lot is being done in the area of advocacy, in the area of public awareness to let the people know. That is drug demand reduction, coming to, for those that even need help, for those that are already into it, for those that are yet to come into it, that is, we're pushing hard advocacy across the country. If you go there, it's just that part of it is not being reported as much as the law enforcement is being reported. That I can tell you because.
Thank you. Yes, of course, yes, you have actually hit the nail on the head as far as that question is concerned. But could you address the issue of methamphetamine? There are reports that, it's just Nigeria was a transit country for this particular substance. But at the moment, Nigeria is an exporter. What's the NDLEA doing concerning that? And then, like Omeza was trying to, tell us, drug users are actually on the increase, and it's worrisome because we have women and people in rural areas now in this very bad behavior. What is the NDLEA doing as far as ensuring that drug use is reduced to the barest minimum, and also getting rehabilitation centers for those who are already into it?
Very well, thank you for that question. Now I'll tell you, like I did say earlier, that I would even say that the agency is doing much more in the area of drug demand reduction, which are into various, which we have, where we have various fronts, starting from prevention, and that is why we're working with the state governors, the wives of the governors. We brought all of them to Abuja recently to engage them, to train them on how to get all of this cascaded down to the grassroots, to the communities in their state. We're not doing it alone. We're deploying a whole society approach, getting everybody. And I appreciate the fact that our very good friend, Dr. Odeza, who is in the studio there, it's one hand that has also been making impact, who has also is part of the stakeholders that have been doing a lot to support the effort of the government in this regard. But then beyond that, again, coming to your question about what the agency is doing about methamphetamine, that I will tell you that this is a drug that for years, was strange to us. We didn't know, people didn't know, didn't have the wherewithal, that is the technical know-how to cook or produce this in Nigeria. But then you have some years ago, you had some foreigners, that is the South Americans, who came in and taught our people. And just last year, towards the end of last year, the last quarter of last year, you had an outbreak in the Southeast, and the agency responded well. And one of such was the recent bust of the clandestine laboratory in VGC Lagos, simultaneously with that of Nise community in Anambra State. Were able to, in one single operation, take out 2 labs, in addition to arresting those behind them, and even the cook who was helping them to do that. Again, we also have to work with a lot of communities where this thing was being abused, and as you can see, the kind of videos you were seeing then, you no longer see them, because we worked hard to bump up quite those who were distributing this in the South. And just about a week ago, we had a major operation in the Southeast where we had to go to Abia State. Okay.
That's true. Thank you very much, Baba Femi. Because of time, we would have to leave it at that point. Femi Baba Femi from the NDLEA, Director of Media and Advocacy. Of course, we hope that the agency will continue to do much more so that, we can actually get rid of this menace. So I'll quickly come to you, Dr. Omeza. Because of time, what will be your last words? How can we make Nigeria a drug-free society?
I will just make reference to the tweet of the country rep UNDC some days ago, where he opined that we should take away discrimination and we should reduce, of course, stigmatization, reduce society barrier, and step up funds for treatment and care. So you see, by the time you do the first two I have mentioned, there will be massive awareness stepping down to the various levels, at the ward level, the family level, the local government level, the state level, in a coordinated format.
And in turn, Nigeria would be better for it. Thank you so much, Dr. Hope Omeza, for joining us on Weekend File tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll take a break. Please stay.
Is joy to the world.
Oh yeah, it's that time of year again.
FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria's Service of 9 Lessons and Carols ushers us into the joyous mood of Christmas.
With beautiful renditions from different choirs that will lift our spirits.
Theme, Fear Not.
Venue, National Christian Center, Abuja.
Date, 4th December 2022.
Time, 3 p.m.
Message giver, His Eminence, Most Reverend Daniel Oko, President, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN.
Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, GCON, Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Hosts, Directors General, FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria.
Chief host, Alhaji Muhammad, Minister of Information and Culture.
FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria's Service of 9 Lessons and Carols, supported by Christian Association of Nigeria.
Come worship with us as we celebrate Christ, the newborn King.
Be there.
Now you can get a GoTV decoder, and 1 month of GoTV Jolly for only 4,900 naira and enjoy all the show-stopping games live from Qatar on GoTV.